This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. If we can, we got a really busy agenda tonight, so I'd like to start the meeting off. It is just coming up to 6 o'clock, and it's bang on 6 o'clock. So we're starting the meeting at 6 p.m. Call to order. There is a quorum. There's 3 here. Pat is on the phone. Proof of notice. This was sent out on Friday, also on the notice boards. First meeting agenda item is the approval of the board meeting minutes from November the 7th and the 2 board meeting minutes on November the 14th. So if I could ask for a motion to approve those. So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any questions on those 3 board meeting minutes? No. All those in favor of approving them? 3. Yep, that's unanimous. Okay, so turning it over to the management report. I will say just a couple of things before we ask Keneal to give a management report. We are going to talk about the Plaza credit later. So if you want to hold your questions on that until we get to that particular section, and we'll hopefully be able to address the questions that I'm sure a number of you have on those Plaza credits.
Can those fans go down or no?
I'll turn them off in just a second. I'm going to be short just because we have such a robust agenda on for tonight, but I did want to share with the community and welcome Miss Stephanie Taylor. She's going to be our new hand for the community. TJ is going to be moving on to new adventures and opportunities in his future. So I just wanted to welcome Stephanie. You're going to be seeing her around. We're getting her onboarded. Today's her first day, so give her a minute to acclimate. She's still transitioning from her previous property as well. So happy to have you.
But she is a First Services employee, has been for a number of years, so she's very familiar with the systems. Also, in previous properties, she's gone through turnovers from the developer, gone through the litigation process with the developer, the audit, so brings a tremendous amount of knowledge for us to be able to fall back on. So welcome, Stephanie.
And property manager turnover too, right, Stephanie? Yes.
Okay. So committee reports. Is Gary on? We are? No, I don't see him. Okay. I know he did say he had a prior engagement, so I don't think we're going to get Mark's report tonight. On the legal, we've just had a legal committee meeting earlier. We've been talking about a number of outstanding issues, the main one being the notice to Lennar about the defects within the community. So this is called the 558 notice, which we send out from the attorneys to Lennar to register that these are what our engineering study and what our clipboard has evidenced as the issues with the construction in the community. One of the things when I talked to Lennar a couple of weeks ago is they have asked if we can share the engineering study and the clipboard with them before we get to that legal process, because they feel that they can probably address a number of them before we start to incur attorney fees. So one of the questions I had of the attorney was, is that worth us doing that, sending out that engineering study ahead of time? The attorney said it doesn't cost us anything by doing so, and it may help us have them identify within that engineering study and the clipboard some of the things that they can start to repair now and get ahead of the game. So I will be sharing that document with Lennar for them, and that then once they respond, we can then look at the formal legal process for at least give them an opportunity to take a look at it. We also talked about trademarks. As you know, we're trademarking the country club and the logo. That's never been trademarked, so we're going to trademark that so that we have ownership of that logo and the name, the country club at Championsgate. We also talked about SWS and the contracts that they have in view of the fact that there's been different installations as the community has matured. So from Country Club 1 being here to Country Club 5, there's different aspects of the security installation within those homes. The contract we have with SWS is a service contract. We don't have an installation contract because that would have been one that the developer had with them at the time. So we're going to try and see if we can get hold of an installation contract to see whether they have complied with that. It's not a contract with us, it'll be a contract with Lennar. Whether we'll be able to get hold of that information, I don't know, but it's certainly something we're going to look at trying to achieve. The trail fee, the new trail fee contract is being drafted. That won't impact 2023 because we're already into that process, so it'll be renewed for the 2024 renewal. And also the official records request resolution, which we have to pass to change the to define how the process works in terms of applying for records. It's not very defined in the actual governing document, so this will help define, so everybody will be aware of how they can apply for official records. Then the last thing I was asking them for was the assessments for Lennar in terms of the homes that they have already established, which are the 4 model homes, and whether they should be paying the full assessment. It seems like they have not registered a certificate of occupancy for those 4 homes, which means that as a result of which, under the governing documents, they're only required to pay 10%. So I've asked the attorney to look into that in more detail because they've got to be getting on those 4 homes some landscaping, if not anything else. Internet. And probably internet, so they should be paying much more than the 10%, so more to come on that. That's my update for the legal committee. Finance?
On finance, we met and reviewed the October financials today. They should be available for posting shortly. I think all the other ones are, is September posted yet, Camille? I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, the financials should be completed, and we're going to do some new business in terms of the discussion around the replacement of our treasurer, and I will say that he is very sadly missed on the finance committee as well as the board, but we'll discuss that further. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Restaurants and activities.
Right now we got the golf cart parade coming up on the 17th. I just drove the route the other night, 54 minutes, gave about quarter throttle the whole way. Try to act like I was in the parade and everything, you know, stop and say hi to a bunch of people, but still kept my pace. So it was 54 minutes from here back to the clubhouse. So I wasn't sure on the route we're coming back from the clubhouse to here, if we're going to go down 10 or go down 18 and up Dove Valley. So I had about 5 or 6 minutes onto that. So it's about an hour for the golf cart parade. After the parade, we're all going to meet back at the plaza. We're going to have an amazing parking spot for everybody. We're going to have a big party here so everybody can hang out and enjoy the holidays. So we're going to finesse that one. And then after that, we got the New Year's party coming up. Right now, we're back trying to find a new band because one actually moved out of state. I know FSR is working with a third party to get that situated right now. We will keep everybody posted on bands and DJs and what's going on with that. And that's it right now. I would like to touch on comms real quick, if that's okay, Neil.
On what, sorry?
Comms,
Yeah.
communications board right now. We just got Stephanie here. That's a great thing. So we're going to kind of like pick her brain, see what she does in other communities to help, you know, with the communications. The communications committee has a couple great ideas instead of knocking on people's doors. So we got this little tell your neighbor little thing we would like to do. That's going to be coming out here shortly. And then after that, we are going to be doing an RFP. So we're going to do message boards. We're going to do some message boards by all the main mailboxes, the one off of Fallen Oak, the one off of K-Track, and the one over there in front of the North Pole. So the whole thing is like, I think it's like 500 and something homes that we're going to be able to cover. So every time they go get mail, they're going to know what's going on at the plaza. They're going to know what's going on at the golf course, and they're going to know everything that's going on with the manager's update. We're going to have information on how to get to connect. And I just think it'll improve the communication throughout us as a whole. I'm still looking for a spot over in phase 1, phase 2. I think we just use the plaza as that one, and we have boards here also, but we might put them in a different spot and make them a little bit better. So, but that's it for right now.
Great, thanks, Terry. I don't think we've got Terry's siren on, but the next Covenants Committee meeting is on.
There's one supposed to be next week. There's no violations or anyone has come up in terms of appealing any of the violations. So we may either move that or at least maintain the meeting because we have Stephanie on board to guide us more diligently on what we need to do with violations. I still think we need to do a bit of an audit on the violations from turnover. There appears to be some that probably fell through the cracks, but you know, we're getting back on track and we'll get more diligent on that as we go forward.
Thanks. And then last but not least, golf park.
So I'll just kick it off before Mark starts. I just want to send a shout out to the FSR team down at golf, as well as Keneal, the golf committee members and other volunteers that came down. We started unloading the carts at 6 a.m. They were all unloaded by 8 and ready to go. And the old carts were gone, I think, before 11. So all that went on behind that was, you know, taking the stuff off, getting them all set up, but more importantly, getting the wires sent to the bank so they would release the address on when we could where we could send the carts back. So anyways, it worked very well. RJ and the team down there did a great job, and we had lots of volunteers, so it went real quick. So thanks to all of those people. If the minutes could show the gratitude to those folks, that would be great.
Golf committee had a meeting last Wednesday. A couple proposals that need to go to the board. First one was we established a residence single trail fee, which we had a family. We had outside members single.
The half year.
We forgot.
The half year.
Half year. I mean, after a 6-month trail fee. We do have a number of residents. They're only here 6 months, and so we have a proposal for you for $1,450 for the residential 6-month fee. And
So I'll so move on that one, Mark.
Do you want to do that now? It is on.
Was that, we can do it later? We can do it later,
It's on the
sorry.
new business.
Yep, I apologize, yep.
okay, and the other one that we approved at the meeting was we ended up with the golf carts. We had initially ordered 70 golf carts. We had to take an order of 80 to get them because another golf course got hit by the hurricane, had an order in. So instead of getting them in April, we got them now. So we had to take their order. So we were going to raise the park fees from 26 to 28 to pay for the GPS and stuff. We just went ahead and raised it to $29, which will cover the added expense for the additional new cars. So other than that, I think that's it.
Okay.
And then Ron was here for having a fundraiser February 28th, and it's for the course beautification. And we picked hole 16 to do some work. And Ron's going to present that.
Okay.
Well, I have a sketch here, which is the original sketch that I'm going to submit to you guys for approval. This is the original one that was drawn up. I think it's just a copy of it, it's a smaller version.
Oh, perfect.
But that's what we're proposing for 16. The cost is $10,000.
Can you come closer to the mic, Ron?
Yeah. The cost is $10,000 to do that project. I think it'll make the whole course look better. And the one issue that I'm gonna have is we're gonna need to put a lot of pine straw down to keep the weeds down. Not only here, but many other places on the golf course, because as everybody knows, last year, weeds were atrocious. We could not keep up, it was raining to kill them. So if we put down pine straw, we tried cutting those and putting it down, it didn't work.
It didn't work.
No, not at all. So I don't know what we have in the budget for pine straw this year, but hopefully it's enough. So this is what,
This is going to be a self-funded
yes,
because of the event that you're
Yes.
hosting on February the 28th.
on February 28th, right?
There's,
Hey, Ron, where on 16 is it? I see the walkway.
Back of the green.
Back of the green when you go to 17? Or, oh, you're talking about right behind the green?
Right behind the green.
Sawgrass is okay.
Yeah, that's where the
I always hit
sidewalk.
my ball there.
There's
Okay,
the sidewalk. the walk-
I got you.
And the two green ones are the
Yep.
one of the complaints where people walking along there is that there's a lot of rats living in the sawgrass. And their dogs are going crazy with the rats and stuff.
chasing the
So
rats.
we just plan on taking the sawgrass out, putting in some palm trees and some flowering trees and then put pine straw down.
And Ethan will approve the irrigation and make sure everything's.
Right.
Yeah, we're
manageable
taking,
from his side.
between me, Sammy, and Ethan, we're taking care of all of that stuff. And Ethan's working with us perfectly.
Perfect.
No problem.
Do you want to
Thanks.
So it's up to you guys.
propose?
I'll support the initiative on a self-funded basis.
Yes.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favour? Aye. Pat?
He's gone.
There you go.
I'm ready to donate. What I'm talking about.
Okay. Don't have a response from Pat.
We need a motion for I'll move the increase to the trail fees, or the cart fees to 29 and 18 for 9 holes. Effective, I think it was going to be as soon as we could get easy
We were
updated.
hoping it to be effective immediately.
Right. It's just pending.
And also the GPS and everything is going, it's scheduled to be installed on all the parts starting December 13th.
That's a separate conversation, but yes.
Oh,
Anyway, it's all good. It's all good.
So can we have a second for the motion to increase the cart fees to 29 and 18? Thank you. Any questions on that? All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. We may have lost Pat, I'm afraid, so it's 3 plus a abstaining. Okay, so that's it for.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mark.
Ron. Moving on to old business, revision of the golf grill refrigeration. Just a bit of background on this. The refrigeration we have at the golf grill is insufficient to meet health and safety standards. We received our second violation for a June inspection of the county inspectors. So we've been fined another $400 as a result of the fact that we don't have sufficient refrigeration down at the golf grill. So we did approve back in August for the purchase of 2 units for refrigeration for the golf grill due to supply chain issues that was causing a problem. So we now have a revised proposal to come in. And Camille, can you just talk us through this revised proposal?
Yes. So It does include about another additional $4,000 to $5,000 to get it's going to be a true cooler and freezer, which we can get effective pretty much immediately is what we've been told. Otherwise, we're waiting till April. So it is the ideal equipment. We were trying to be a little bit more reserved on our approach, but this is the piece that's there. It's going to resolve the issue that we're at hand, and it's definitely needed so that we can try to build back at the golf grill what we need to get back on the menu.
And I think, the last thing we need is a further violation, because the health inspector is just going to get more and more serious about it, and rather than a financial, he'll close us down. So we've got to make sure that we get this in place.
Shouldn't some of that been turned over to Lenore for vision? How did it pass for vision?
I think we just basically got what we were given, and that was.
The original designs were approved by Lennar and approved by the county.
Well, if they're approved by the county, how can they find you now if they approved it?
They could say that we grew the offerings outside of the scope of what the intention of the restaurant was. If it was intended to be something of more just a hot dog or smaller venue, then it would have fit with 2 double door coolers and a free double door freezer. But we'd like to offer more than what its capacity is.
We can't go back to Lennar because we got what we got, and that was approved.
It's
So-
the same with this place as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the design was approved. It's, as far as we're concerned, it's not fit for purpose, so we're having to suffer with that. But they will say, well, we built it as it was designed, so we are not responsible. So can I have a motion to approve the
So moved.
purchase of the additional refrigeration units?
So
How much is it?
An
It's
extra
total cost of $15,000.
we don't really have a choice. I mean, from a cash flow perspective, we were tight on cash given the high amount of receivables. That number's coming down, but from a cash flow perspective, the golf committee and the pro shop have been able to renew the memberships for trail fees and outdoor memberships for almost $500,000. So cash wise, we should be fine. On this particular item, I can't say it's a free for all, but it's something that we really can't afford to ignore.
Did you second? Thank you.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favour? Aye. I still can't see Pat.
He's in. He has a message. Oh, he's there.
Said aye, there you go. Thank you, Pat. Collections outstanding. So suspension of use rights for 90 days. Again, Keneal, can you come up and talk us through these 2 points on the collections outstanding?
So on the agenda, we have an ongoing approval of anyone 90 days outstanding to proceed with the turning off of their use rights and their voting rights. So it's an ongoing one. I'm not sure if we can go about it.
I thought we'd already voted on this, didn't we, last time around?
Yeah, it's just an updating. It says to keep it on the agenda, so it's on the agenda. And then the main thing is just the approval, then anyone over 90 days, we're proceeding to do approval to proceed to send those to the attorney, which that we would need your approval.
Okay, and this is
There's 52 that would be sent.
52 homes where we're going to ask the attorney to write to them to advise them that they are delinquent, but also that their privileges will be suspended for use of the plaza, for use of the golf course.
Notice of late assessment's already been done.
Okay. So can I have a motion to approve, to proceed with the authorization?
So move.
Second.
Second.
All those in favour?
Aye.
So that's approved.
Aye.
Carry.
How much is still outstanding?
It's a good question, Anu. Yes, the 90 days, over 90 days, we're at 109,500 as of this morning.
And then the restaurant's separate from that.
The restaurant is separate from that. We're still working on the number.
Yeah.
The number on the restaurant is a little more confusing because the way that the point of sale system has been working is that when somebody has sold their property and moved out, that account should have been cleared out and closed. Whilst that was part of the estoppel process, as you go through that sale and purchase, there are a number of accounts which were never closed. So they've still been running and accumulating a $75 monthly plaza credit, which has not been paid because they no longer live here. So there's a cleanup exercise to close down all of those accounts so that we have a clean view. And we've asked, whilst Stephanie has joined us, we have TJ will stay with us for 2 weeks. And we've asked that he gets locked away in a room to clean up all of these accounts before he departs. So that's something that he will be working on to clean up that database, because we just don't have a good figure at the moment. ATP is authorization to proceed. So ANOLA is notice of late assessment. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be the industry practice. That's a question for a legal. I mean, as far as we've been advised by legal, it is normally after 90 days, that's when you start to take action. So you allow people the 90 days and then take the action.
60 days.
It's a good question. Yeah, I can ask the attorney.
Any question for Epic?
That's a good length of time.
I'm not sure if it's a Florida statute thing, Kathy. I'd have to look at it. It could be. But
So Neil, it varies by community, as Stephanie just reminded me.
Can you come up to the?
So it does vary by community. There are other communities that suspend use after the first notice they receive. So after the NOLA, which is the 30-day notice, we do have other communities that suspend at that time.
Oh, really?
So we need
Okay.
to just confirm with your documents and then speak with Ashley to see if that would be permitted here. But you can typically step up the enforcement with collection policy.
It would need to be written in the collection policy.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Is there like a standard, or in the properties you've worked at, how many people are behind in dues? Like if you put a percentage on it? Because I see 52, 900, and whatever homes, 5%. Is there like a plus or minus number you guys go by?
It varies by community.
The issue we face is our receivables at one point were double what they should be, to the point where we couldn't get a line of credit. So we need to get that part of the house in order to get approved for the line of credit, and then we'll have some flexibility if an emergency came up of things that we need to get done or get fixed. So.
Okay. So that was, did we vote on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Okay, thank you.
Unanimous.
All right, next is the landscaping contract. So there's a proposal. Who's that?
Does Pat want to talk to that, or
Who's that?
is Pat going to talk to that?
Oh, Pat. Are you able? I don't know. Is it got a really bad connection? Pat, I don't know if you're able to talk to the landscaping contract.
I'm here. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if Peter's on or not, or Mark, but just to announce, obviously we're going to vote on it, but we do have a new contractor on board. I think we're all finalized. All the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. We did get a lot included in this new contract at no charge. We also got 2 years, the first 2 years at the same cost, and then a modest increase for inflation on the third year. They have committed to sending in 100 people the first day of the contract to get this community cleaned up and where it's supposed to be. I know that we have talked in the last week or so about them coming in and getting started on the tree straightening, which is part of the contract at no charge. I think that kind of summarizes all of it, but I think everybody's going to be very happy with the new company starting on January 1st. And I think it's been a long process, but it's been worth the wait and moving forward.
Thanks, Pat. It is a 3-year contract that we've established with them. As Pat said, there's no increase in cost in the second year. And then in the final year, it's actually in the contract is a 4% increase, which is significantly below current inflation rates as well. So I think it's a great contract that's been negotiated by the Facilities Committee, and latterly Pat has been heavily involved in negotiating some of these extra terms and conditions. So thanks for that, Pat.
Absolutely.
Can we have a motion to approve that contract? So move. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. I'll open it up for any questions there may be before we vote on it. Is there anything online? Nope. Okay. All those in favour? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
Thank you to Pat and the facilities team and the FSR team that put that together.
I know it's been a while
huge
coming,
effort.
but
Yeah.
it's great that we're going to get a new company coming in there. Okay, plaza assessment charges. So we sent out a notice last week about the renewal of the plaza credit for food and beverage. Effectively, we've moved that back to an assessment on a monthly basis if you choose to pay on a monthly basis, so it's part of your monthly assessment. However, if you choose, and that was part of the budget process and the approval process that the budget went through. However, if you choose to pay the annual 900, we have moved from a April 1 to March 31st year to a January 1 to December 31st year. It's more efficient from a management financial perspective, also from an administrative perspective to have it as a calendar year as opposed to having it midway through the year. We did say that as a result of that change, if people have paid the 900, that they should pay the next 900 for 2023 by December the 20th. We've had a number of questions and queries around the fact that if you paid 900 for the plaza credit through to March the 31st, then if we're asking you to pay 900 by December the 20th for the year, then you're effectively paying for those 3 months again. I mean, you'll be able to use it at the plaza, so it's not that you're paying and you don't get the value for it, but it is the fact that some people are saying, well, I've already paid for January, February, March, so can I not just pay $675 for the other 9 months? We did talk about this. We thought, you know, from an administrative point of view, initially that this would be too much of a burden for First Services to administer. But because there has been such a reaction from the community, I think we all agree on the board that we should move to that particular process to allow people to pay $675 instead of the $900, so that because they've already prepaid the 3 months in January through March. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have to send another notification out to people who do that. It doesn't impact the people who are paying $75 a month, because that just rolls off every month. So that's fine. That stays as it is. But if you want to pay for the whole year, And
you were previously enrolled.
and you were previously enrolled, then you just pay the 675 for the remainder of 2023. If you've never been enrolled, but you want to move to the 900 or for the full year, then those people, those new entrants will just pay the 900 because they've not got any prepaid already for January, February, March. And obviously, if you're delinquent on any of your assessments, then that money is going to go first to pay off any delinquents rather than go towards your plaza food credit, food and beverage. Sorry. I don't know whether that was clear. Was that clear? I tried my best to be clear on that.
So if, for the people who have already sent it in for the letter, that will just remain as a credit on your food and beverage?
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways.
It'll go to your assessment, but it's going to take me a minute to figure
So the 225 will go towards your HOA assessment, and so once First Services are able to apply that, it will mean that one of your assessments will.
So
So
on your-
one month will just have less of an assessment.
Yes, exactly.
You'll just pay
It
less.
goes to a credit off something.
Yeah,
Yes.
it'll just mean you'll pay less for that particular month.
Correct.
but I would have to.
It just,
What if we have automatic payment? It takes the same amount.
automatic payment for your HOA,
Yeah.
then you would do it less what was in the memo as your total monthly HOA assessment, less, if you've prepaid the 900 or the 675,
And you pay the lesser amount.
then you pay the lesser amount net of the 75 food and beverage credit.
Which was explained in the email.
No, he's
Well,
saying he had.
You
You have automatic payment.
Right,
Right
so you-
away for a
Yeah.
certain amount.
So
Right.
again, it's going to take me a minute, but for those of you who have already paid the 900 that you have auto payment on set up, then I'm going to have to work with our FSR above property team to refund you the $225.
Well, we just
Because
credit,
you have it on auto, he has it on auto pay, so we would have to turn it off, turn it on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
we'll work it through on a case-by-case basis, but
Can we see if I think we may have questions online on this one.
No questions, just a lot of people saying thank you for making that change.
Okay, good. All right, so can we
And-
motion that
and
then?
just to be clear, it's alcohol and drinks next year, effective January 1st.
No, it's all
Not this year, but starting January.
But it's all beverages.
Yeah.
So questions, is still going to do by December 20th?
Yep.
20 days notice?
Because, well, we have some processing that needs to be done. This is a highly manual process that we need to have time to get the funds in, make sure it's cleared, make sure your, account is the money is moved around within your account at a timely basis at the beginning of January. And so the deadline is the 20th still. Because you're into a new year and
I just want to reiterate that this time of year is kind of tough on families with Christmas coming. You know, you've got your taxes, you've got lots of stuff at the end of the year. You gave us very little time to make this happen. So just keep that in
Understood.
mind.
But we have reduced it now by 225.
I understand that, but.
Gary?
Whose idea was it to change the terms of the contract that's already in place?
what contract?
There's no contract.
Well, our agreement as to paying the full year. I mean, that was the agreement with the owners and the board, is that the $900 covered for the year until April. Whose idea was it that we go ahead and change the terms of that first week in place?
So-
Was it first residential or was it the board?
It was the board,
Okay.
and I would argue it's not a contract per se. It was an arrangement. It was an arrangement. So if we go back to, I'll say the dawn of time when we started this, it was originally started when the plaza opened. I'm going to guess it was August, September, something later in 2019. In order to, because it was not on a calendar basis, because it opened later, we went with I think it was April to March, to accommodate people that are not here full-time, so that when they had the 900, they had at least the winter season to use up the credit. That's become problematic in terms of accounting. Then we received advice last year from the previous property manager saying, it's better if you do it this way. The issue was collections, accounting, and everything was done in the back office. They moved it to the front office. We took that advice. We changed it. It was bad advice. It's not working well. As you can see, we have two methods of collections. We have collections of credit cards at the plaza here, and we have collections of HOA assessments. What we're trying to do is get back to everything being on a calendar year. We want everything to follow one collection process, so it's cleaner. We've had issues with incorrect estoppels because there's different processes, et cetera, et cetera. So while we're, unfortunately changing it again, we don't view this as another change coming next year. We view this as a sustainable way to deal with the program. It's an important amenity that we have. We need to collectively as a community support it. This is the way we ask you to support it. We've expanded it to include beverages this year. We've dealt with and continue to work on the menus and the program and the quality of the food up here. I think we've seen quite a few substantial changes. We have some hiccups down at the golf course, but I mean, at the end of the day, we spend way too much time on dealing with these background processes. It's now going to get streamlined through this. Sorry if I've gone on.
So on that, can I have a motion to, sorry, Alan.
Last question, just to clarify for everybody. So you never really required the 675, and you carry over credits can go through the end of the year. So nothing expire on March 31st.
Correct.
So there's an additional benefit. Anything you carry over for this year goes for the full year.
That's very true.
Yes.
I think you would find a normal business would go ahead and say, what happens is yep, we want to get it to January 1. What it amounts to is when this agreement ends, we will go ahead and short bill that period because people that are working on budgets have already budgeted for this year. So then to go ahead and turn around and say, no, we're going to go ahead and change the terms of agreement. What I hear from people is they say, hey, is the board staying up at night to see what they can do to aggravate us? I mean, that's what I hear from people.
Well, effectively, we shouldn't have to pay our 675 until April 1st.
Right.
It's not a it's a valid.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's what the board has decided.
But you should have given us more notice. You didn't just come up with this yesterday.
I think we've addressed a number of the issues, and I'm sorry, but that's the way the proposal has been put forward.
I apologize. There's just a comment on the chat asking to speak up because they're having a hard time hearing.
Okay, I think it's when it's out there. Okay, thank you. So can I have a motion to approve the combination of the Plaza food credit to January 1 to December the 31st, and also to accommodate the change that people who have already in the program will only be paying the $675 for April 1st to December the 31st.
But paid by the end of December,
December
20th.
But paid by December the 20th.
And anyone new to the program will pay $900.
Yes.
So
That's in
moved.
the proposal.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Pat, are you seconding or
Second.
no?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. All those in favour?
Aye.
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 Sorry? No. So that's approved. Moving on to the next agenda item is the golf cart lease.
That's the final lease agreement for the 80 carts versus what we had originally in the business case for 70.
So do we have a proposal proposal to approve?
So moved.
I second that.
Carrie seconds.
Okay. All those, any questions on the new golf cart lease? I think Mark has explained it all and Marilyn covered it. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Pat?
Aye. Aye.
That's approved. And then the Toro golf maintenance equipment lease. This is the Ethan's equipment that the lease has been renewed with new equipment.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second that.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
And then we have the approval of the golf cart parade sheriff. So we've asked for 2 sheriffs to provide support for the golf cart parade, particularly down West Side, as it's a public highway. We need sheriffs to lead and follow the golf carts as we go down that public highway. Obviously, there's a cost for us having those sheriffs come in, which is just over $400. If we could have a motion to approve that. So moved. Could I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions on that? Otherwise, all those in favour?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Good, we're getting there. Email naming and storing through. No, come on, that's not. Okay. New business. First, new business, appointment of Alan Westerman to the board as of January 1. So, I'd like to thank Alan for his continuing contribution to the community, not only for what he's going to be doing going forward, but all of the support that he's lent to the finance committee, to the turnover committee historically. So it's a great asset for us to bring onto the board as the new treasurer. So January 1, Alan will be joining us, providing we vote.
Yep.
To appoint. The reason why we as a board can appoint a board member in these unfortunate circumstances, the governing documents do allow us to appoint somebody in these circumstances until the next members meeting and the next voting of a board member, which will be in August next year. So Alan will be on the board until August, when there'll be a vote for new members for that position, and also for my position and for Marilyn's, because we'll have done 2 years then. So can I have a motion to? Thank you. Second. All those in favour?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
New Year's Eve party, RFP. Terry, do you want to talk us through this one?
Right now, we're still in the works. Keneal, do you have it over there? Yeah.
We're hoping to have a New Year's Eve party here. Marilyn doesn't want me to go have paper anymore, paperless. But we put together an RFP with the activities committee for $40 per person to come in and enjoy. We're hoping to attract, we need the community to support us with 150 attendees at least, so that at $40 a person with four drink tickets for beer, house wine, and beer. And then there'll be an hors d'oeuvre bar, a champagne toast at midnight, live band, decor, good fun, and
Hors d'oeuvres.
hors d'oeuvres. What did I say? I don't know what I said.
Hors d'oeuvres as well.
But so that's what we're hoping to attract. If the $40 per person would cover the cost, a little bit of a loss, but the association has agreed to help offset some of that, to try to get us in this line with the same cost as last year, which got canceled. So that is our hope, that you'll come out and support the activities committee. Yes. If it's not a band at this point, like you said, it'll be a DJ or something, but our third party is working on it right now. We'll get that update.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve that proposal?
I'll move.
Can I have a second?
Second,
Second.
go ahead, Pat.
All right, Pat seconded. Okay, all those in favour?
Aye.
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 Pat? Excellent. Okay. In the interest of time, I'm just thinking maybe we should pen the technology proposal. So we're going to push that out to the January board meeting, at which time Pat and I will have been to see our data center down in Tampa, and also had an opportunity to talk to our technology support company on what is required for us to renew not just our firewalls, but also our equipment, because we have aging equipment in terms of the servers down in our data center, but also there's aging laptop and desktop equipment here in the plaza as well. But that's something for next month. The golf 6-month proposal.
So what we wanted to propose, further to what Mark had explained, we have a half-year family rate. We have never created a half-year single rate. We had some queries on it this year, probably, I don't know, maybe half a dozen. So individuals that would like to have the half-year single rate. So at the same proportion as the half-rate family, we'd like to propose a new half-year single rate of $1,450.
Can I have a second motion? Okay. Any questions on that? Anything online? No? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pat?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. We have to formally propose and approve the community board expense. Terry, if you want to do that one.
Yeah, real quick. So I talked about, we're gonna, FSR has such a huge job up here, and we're trying to alleviate a lot of things. Like every day they're getting emails, like literally hundreds of emails, phone calls all day, and there's other things that they have to focus on more. So I think one of the things that we can do here is, alleviate some of that and put message boards up everywhere. Like I said, we got them in K-Track. We're gonna put them over the North Pole area. We're gonna put them over in off Fallen Oak. Total mailboxes over there is 521 mailboxes right now. These message boards, they're large. They're going to be black. They're made of Duralumber. It's like a recycled plastic. We're not going to be able to put our logo on it because there's really no spot the way these things are made to actually put our logo. I don't really think that's that big of a deal on there. But like I said, we got to generate money here. And, not everybody's technology, not everybody's on their email. And I think people, every time they go in their mailbox, the board's going to be right in them. What's going on at the plaza? Our calendar's going to be there. What's going on at the golf course? Why you should come here. What's going on with the manager's update? What are things we're seeing in the community? We can just give a lot of information. We're going to update these things weekly to make sure everybody gets the most up-to-date information. And like I said, the 3 boards total for all the boards is going to be $5,900 and some change on that. So a little under $6,000. I know FSR's guys, they work around here. They're going to be able to put them in. They'll come shipped to us, and it's a couple screws on each side, and then they'll go up. So, I'm sorry, what'd you say? How are they made? Well, there's a 50-year warranty on them. The information. Well, I looked in the everybody's job responsibilities, and it's the lifestyles director responsibility to update the outdoor message boards. Am I correct on that? Okay, yeah. But we'll do it. Hey, if I'm here, I'll be more than happy to go run out to K-Track or something like that to put it up. I'm sure we will not have a problem with that. So. Oh yeah, they're covered. Yep, they're going to be all covered and everything. So. And Keneal and them have like a lot of ideas of what they want to put in there just to get the message out and everything. It's an expense, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to alleviate a lot of pressure and stress on them, and they can be able to focus on the real things. and we'll all know what's going on. So we can't say, I didn't know.
So can I have a second for Terry's motion?
Second?
Okay, we've had some questions already. So all those in favour?
Aye.
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 All right, the last thing on the agenda is strategy and planning meeting, just so that everybody's aware. We are looking as a board and asking all of the chairs of the various committees within the community to take part in a planning and strategic meeting on January the 5th. This is really a forward-looking meeting to look at what do we want to be as a community in the next 3 to 5 years. So it's a great opportunity for us to talk to all of the committee chairs, get their input, and then develop a strategy for the future. So just wanted to put it on the agenda there to let people know that we are looking to have that meeting, and then the outcome of that will be shared with the residents. So on that, I'll open it up to any further questions that anybody may have. So the question is it possible to put everybody's HOA as an automatic deduction from a bank account? We can't automatically do that because it's not our bank account. They have to authorize us. Well, as long as they've got money in their bank account. We see this with the credit cards on file here. We get rejections of credit cards every month because the credit card's either been cancelled, lost, not updated, expired, or they're already over the limit. So we get a lot of rejections from that.
Karen, it wouldn't be practical for us to do that. At the end of the day, everyone is an adult and grown up, and they bought into the community, and they know they have to pay a monthly HOA. They need to just pay their bills. No, it would work. It would work fine if people acknowledged their liabilities and made their bill payments. Sorry? So we're cutting off access to the amenities, and we will be putting liens on their houses. There's not much left in terms of things we can do. Pardon?
We can't. We check because we check with the attorney, and that's an essential service. Cut off the internet. That's an essential service, especially since COVID. Well, especially since COVID.
It's their phone and
their phone and internet. We check with the attorney. We're not allowed to cut off their internet. It's deemed an essential service, same as power and water. So we've asked that question, and we've asked it several times, and the attorney comes back and said, you cannot do that.
Why don't you keep the internet and shut off the TV? That's not essential.
I don't see that as essential.
Yeah, unfortunately, I will admit to you, it used to be a great way to entice people to pay. But at this point, the courts are seeing it as a utility, and you can't suspend or shut off utilities.
Yeah, so Christina was just saying from First Services that the courts are seeing this as an essential service, and so we're not able to cut them off.
What about shutting off their barcodes from using the owner's gate? They can go through the main gate to where they have to show ID to get in. I mean, if you make it easy for them, they're just not going to pay. If you make it hard, they're going to at least try to pay part of it.
I think that's a conversation with the Master Association, but certainly something we can explore because the Master owns the gates. And it's something that, we talked about earlier today as well. We can have a conversation with the master, but, it depends upon whether they are willing to do something like that.
There are people who are not paying our HOA fee, not paying the.
Well, if they are, if they're not paying the master also, then there may be more, encouraged to cut them off on the path and make them go to the visitors gate.
I don't think you still need this gate here, access to this gate here, because we can't not let them have access to their homes, I think.
I'd recommend that you talk with Mark Williams. Mark had been in the collection business prior. There are attorneys who are experts in this. The law firm may have somebody that does this, but it's not really an expert in it. What it amounts to is normally they will go ahead and take care of the fees. We will be getting money into this, waiting for a lien and this kind of stuff. We're going to be out of money for a long time. And I would suggest if you've got Mark, he's volunteered before, to volunteer to help, and he has some expertise in this area.
It's a fair comment. I don't know whether we want collection agencies going around our community, forcing people to pay.
$180,000 out there. We've got, I'm surprised that we actually have cash flow to take care of our bills. So waiting for a lien is not, I question the effectiveness of that.
Well,
I have a question. Would like Spectrum, would they allow people to not pay their bills and still provide them? Do they have to provide them internet?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't think they do. It's the same thing with us.
All I can tell you is what we've been advised by our attorney and what we're seeing in the courts. And do you want to incur the cost of getting other attorneys, so we then have to pay more fees? Is that what we're recommending here? Okay. It makes sense to me, yes.
Indicated is that the people that are in that business, normally their fees, we're not going to be out money from the beginning. So I recommend talk to somebody that's been in the business versus us as new people.
Okay.
Would you do that?
Yeah.
I bet if I didn't pay if I had my own Spectrum bill and I didn't pay it, they're going to shut me off.
Do we have any other questions online, Christine?
There was one question from earlier. I'm sorry. I'm going to come up there because everyone is complaining that they can't hear.
Okay.
So we do have one question online. It says, can management discuss the disclaimer of opinion on required supplementary information in the 2021 audited financial statement? Will it be resolved for 2022 audit?
Sorry, what was the comment?
And management discussed the disclaimer of opinion on required supplementary information in the 2021 audited financial statement. Will it be resolved for 2022 audit?
Is it materiality?
So that table that's in there, the supplemental information, relates to the reserves and replacement costs, right? Future replacement costs. I think the timing was that we didn't have the reserve study when the audit was undertaken, so they couldn't offer an opinion on it. So they basically just listed out what the estimates were. They did some very limited procedures, but they didn't opine an actual opinion to say, we think I think it's 8.9 or 8.6 million is accurate or inaccurate, higher or lower, et cetera. So the table's in there, it's just an unaudited aspect of the supplemental information.
Plus, they wouldn't have been approved at the time of those statements.
Right, so now that we have the reserve study, that should resolve with the 2022
And the approved
audit.
assessments. And the approved assessments now.
Yes, well, I mean, that's a separate, because that'll just show how much money we collect for the year, but the supplemental information is just a table of how long the assets are expected to last and what the expected replacement cost is. And again, I think it's around 8.9 million, give or take. But they just picked that up from a draft version of that or something that they put together. But that should resolve itself with 2022. We can check with the auditors though, just to see what evidence we have to provide if that reserve study isn't enough. It should be.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alan. That's why we appointed him as the treasurer. Okay, if there's no more questions.
The meetings for next year.
Oh, yeah, sorry. The which financials? September are not online. I looked earlier. They're not. September needs posting. Board meetings for next year. Just want to advise people that we are going to change the date to the second Monday, is what's being proposed, of the month rather than the first Monday. The reason, I don't think you're okay with that, are you?
Any day.
Yeah. The reason we're doing that is because the financials, we don't get the financials in enough time to provide the board meeting with a proper oversight of what the monthly financials are showing. So that gives us an extra bit of time, especially when the Monday is like the first or second or third of the month, then it doesn't give us sufficient time for us to review those financials and come back with a proper explanation of what's happened in that month. So from January onwards, it will be the second Monday in the month, still at 6 p.m., still recorded. So we'll be doing that. That was it? Yeah.
Can you come closer?
Want to come?
It's just a general question. I can't understand.
To the mic, into the mic, Kathy.
Sorry,
I can't understand, and I'd like to understand. I'm a single, but I pay for a year, but it's not half of what double pay, and I don't
No, it's
understand why.
66%.
Okay, but how come? Why?
Because we based it off of the same thing that the family was based on.
But I'm only one person, like you and Jackie would be two people. So I don't understand why it's.
Because sometimes people, I'll answer also on behalf of the the golf committee too.
I don't,
Like-
it's basically been the same rate.
It's not a half
Oh, I
thing.
know, and I complain every year.
This is the first time I heard you complain.
Because I can't.
It's not
They
half
don't.
because oftentimes when you have a family, you're sharing the same cart. So it's not always, one person goes out, another person goes out, another. So the wear and tear is higher with a single than it would be on a family.
But I know how many men's leagues there are, and I know that the women don't go to the men's league. I know a lot of people who golf, of course, like you do.
Yep.
And so I see it. And
Yep.
I can see that that's not the way it is. It's not the couples going together.
It's the same as if you played 18 holes in practice.
No, but it should be.
And I'll be
My
honest,
opinion.
with you, I don't really know if when they set this up, because it was set up, the scale has been set up for 2-3 years,
Uh-huh.
given when I was here. Now, I think all the expenses have to come out,
Yeah, no.
and it's the same expenses for a 6-month as a 12-month. As far as stickers, license plates,
Well, I'm doing a year. I mean, I don't care about the half a year.
No, but I mean, you're just talking
Yeah.
the single.
Single cart versus a family
It's
cart.
it's no different
It's
than
the
the half.
it's the same expenses. It's the same expenses.
It-
But I don't know what that adds up to.
Kathy,
What we've done is we've just followed it all over years since we got it handed over from.
But it's also no different than the half
It's always
year.
been done that way, that it's just, that's why it's done that way.
But it's no different than the half year isn't half either.
I understand that. I saw that, yeah. And
But I guess someone at some stage decided that a single cart user was using 66% of a family cart user, and that's why the charge was there. Maybe it's
Well, I
something
know the
because
same formula is used on 12-month and 6-month.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
But yet
I
I
don't-
know you can have an additional cart for what, another $200 a year? I don't
About
remember what
300
it is,
taxes.
but that doesn't seem fair. Because
Why?
that cart could go out quite
Why?
often. Well, why is that fair?
Well, it's either that or that person gets to use one of our cards
I
for free.
understand, yeah.
So if somebody wants to go out and spend 14,000 and not do the wear and tear on one of our cards,
That's fair. I get
I
that.
mean, that's how that,
Okay,
It's fair. I get
sorry,
that.
Kathy. You want to move on? That's okay. It's something the golf committee can look at, Kathy. Is anybody else? Gary, you had another question.
So we've been doing a number of RFPs this year, which is great because it goes ahead and reevaluates what we've done. What's the plan to do an RFP on the insurance program?
What is the plan to do an RFP on the insurance broker? When we moved to First Services, we asked them about insurance brokerage. We advised them who we were with, and they also worked with Assured Partners, and they were comfortable with that broker. So we have not decided to do an RFP on looking at additional brokers.
I would highly recommend, because from what I saw last year, I'd be glad to discuss it with the board. I've got some serious reservations, and the quality that we're getting right now, and the answers that they give is like, her answer last year is, you're lucky to be who you're with, we've got you with the right carrier. That impedes you as a board, being in the business for 40 years. My next question is, who did you go to get ultimate quotes for us? Because if you're not going to get us ultimates, we need to find another agent so that we have, because as your fiduciary liability is to go ahead and be sure that we are getting fair. And if she knows that you're going to renew with her, there's no options coming from the outside, and we don't have her going to the other markets, we are an ATM machine for her.
Christina.
So we do have a division in First Service called First Service Financial, and part of that group oversees the insurance policies as well. So what they'll do is they'll review the policies, they'll review just to make sure that we have proper coverage, and then they'll review the premiums to make sure that they are appropriate in what they're seeing industry-wide. So it is another set of eyes overseeing and making sure that the agent is providing the proper coverage at the proper amount of.
That's not the issue. The issue is going to the best markets out there.
Yes.
And that's what I'm seeing is that her answers, that is not happening. And I kept asking for that as to who she was going to market it. Because being in the business, you can tell me you're going to business company, and that's fine. I know they're going to tell you no, but there's these two companies out here that are doing a great job, and you're not even going to. And when you hire an insurance agent, the two most important things is their experience, which if they've got experience, that's good. The second thing is the markets. If they don't have the best markets, we are not getting the best product. And that's why, like a agent like State Farm has one product to sell. So what do they have to offer you? One product. What it amounts to is an independent agent. You've got 3 good markets out there.
Right. So with the board's permission, we can have First Service Financial take a look at the insurance policies and take a look at the markets and make sure that you're getting the most competitive rates.
Well, especially as we're due to renew in February, so that,
right.
that
So
would be great.
we're at the prime time right now to do that because it doesn't renew until February.
We're already behind the 8 ball. I recommended last year, and most agents that are most HOAs that I worked with had an insurance committee. And so that's where you had, and with having 900 owners, there's got to be some people that have experience in this area that are owners that can go ahead and contribute.
Gary, we actually talked about that earlier today. We were throwing some things around because they know that you wanted to get involved on that side.
I could care less if it's me. I'm just concerned as owners that we're getting, and like I say, the issue is going to the right markets is the issue. We weren't getting that kind of answer. And what it amounts to is so anyway, it just as a owner, my recommendation is that you look at doing an RFI instead of RFP, and that you go ahead and have an insurance.
We'll take that under advisement, and I think we'll take Christina's offer up in terms of having first financial review in. Okay. Any other questions online? Okay, then can I ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting? Remove. Second?
Second.
All those in favour? Aye. Pat?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:15. Thanks,
Thanks,
Christina.
Christina.
You're welcome.
Pay raise.
Yeah, you can have 100% pay.
It wasn't so much fun. Same kind from the same.
5 or 6 people.
Do you usually need a closed meeting?
Give us a break.
I only ask because the dogs have been inside for 12 hours.
Oh, no, we don't. No. I thought you were suggesting you should.
I thought my daughter was coming home today, so I didn't worry about letting them out, but now they're inside.
No.
No.
Okay.
I know.